Hey everyone, welcome to episode 70 of the Conscious Podcast. This is a solo episode. This is a kind of a special edition. I'm using a different setup. I'm not in my normal location of like a cafe or in the office. I'm actually sitting in the back of my van. If you're watching live on YouTube, thank you so much. You'll be able to see my setup. If you're not, make sure you jump on YouTube and type in the Conscious Podcast. You'll be able to see all of this, my vlogs, any other snippets from the podcast that I upload, little 1 to 5 minute videos. But if you are watching on YouTube, you'll see, my bed, my Eva mattress, you'll see my van decked out, my clothes hanging up, my guitar there, and I'm sitting outside at my house and it is beautiful outside. So sunny today, and I was like, why not sit out in the elements? So if you hear some noise, if you hear some like a car go past or a plane or a magpie trying to swoop me, then that's why. But I really want to do something that was like outside of the box from what I normally do, and for a solo episode I haven't filmed one before, so I was like, why not do this? It's going to be amazing. And I think for this solo episode, I asked a few people, what should I talk about? I got a few questions, and I think a lot of them started to become very similar in the way that they were like, how can I have the best 2020, 2020, the year? How can I finish off 2019 the best? How can I set myself up for success? How can I find my vision and what I want to do? And I was like, well, this is a cool topic and I really like talking about this. So for me, really in this episode, I want to review 2019, and I'll use myself as an example, and then also how set up and ask these powerful questions on certain areas so that we can own our 2020. Now, this may be an upcoming program that I release in the next couple of weeks. So if you're listening to this or watching this, you're getting like a first exclusive preview as to this whole program. I think it might be a mentor program, 6 weeks, where we delve in. It'll be one-on-one coaching, group coaching. But this podcast, we're really going to overview a lot of that stuff so that if you're listening to this, get some notes, a notebook, and take some notes. If you're driving, please don't do that. Make sure you do this when you're not. But even just listening, make sure you just listen out to something that stands out to you. And if it does, sit with that. Think about that more and do some more work on that. There's a fly around here. Hey, we're outside. We're going to work with the elements today. So I think my first sort of question or thing that I would like to review is, how was your 2019? We've still got 2 months to go. Depending on when you're listening to this, this will come out at the end of October. But how was your 2019? Just write down how you felt this year. And to be honest, for myself, I could write every emotion. There was so much that happened this year, so many amazing things, so many challenging things. And I think that's what's important, because we need to remember that we're human. And one thing that I shared at a recent event was that we, as a human, we all experience that duality: light, dark, positive, negative, up, down, all of that. It's the yin yang of life. That's all within us. Happy, sad, positive, negative. So when thinking about that, we experience every emotion as a human. We all experience them. We all experience happiness, sadness, fulfillment, joy, anxiety, stress, all of these things. And we think it's just us. Like, I thought for so long that, I'm the one that just feels like I'm not enough when I don't achieve this thing, or I don't feel worthy to do that, or I don't feel successful, I don't feel happy, or I'm the only one feeling anxious right now or stressed. And the thing is when I got everyone to put their hands up on whether they felt that emotion or not, everyone did. So that just proves that we're all human and we all feel the same emotions. We just go through our unique journey and experience different things, different extremities, and feel these emotions on different levels. So you might experience something on a much deeper level than what I do. And that's the other way around again. Like, I might have experienced something on such an extreme level that's completely different to you. So we need to remember that we're human. And no matter what happened in 2019, we're here right now. But when we're on this journey of, consciousness, becoming more aware, it's so important to self-analyze. And it's important to ask yourself these quality questions. I can't remember who said the quote, but the quality of your life depends on the quality of questions you ask yourself. And today, or in this episode, we want to ask those quality questions. We want to start thinking about things. I've got an ant on my foot. So for me, looking back on this year, you want to kind of ask yourself, how did I feel this year? What were my biggest wins of this year? And it might just be a 3-dot point thing. For me, one of my biggest wins was speaking on stage. I overcame, I guess, that fear, that uncomfortability, but also got the opportunity to speak on some amazing stages. My second one was I'd done a lot of work on myself. Like, I did a lot of inner work, I did a lot of personal development, I went to a lot of courses and retreats, and I did that work on myself. And I feel that's a massive win for me. Another win for me was I launched my coaching business and launched these events that I now host, the Align events. And I think for me, that was a massive win because it was something I held off for so long, stepped into, and it may not have progressed to now. I don't do any coaching, it's more like mentoring now, but it was a big step to then discover what I liked and what I didn't like. And from that, I was able to create more opportunities and a different path and pivot. And I love that so much. And I think there's so many others, like I could list on forever of all the wins. What were my 3 biggest losses? And I know people don't mind the car. People don't like to think about these losses, but it's like, duality. What were the hardest things I went through, or the most challenging things that I went through? For me, this year was, I guess, a big thing for me was forgiving myself through I held so much shame, so much guilt, so much resentment towards myself from my whole journey that, that was the most challenging thing, was stepping into that and allowing that to happen. And you might think that was a win. That was, don't get me wrong, it was a win, but it also threw me off quite a bit and was really, really challenging. The second one for me was getting back into a point where I was working more on my, I guess, daytime job than I was on my passion work. And for me, it was a challenge because I was in bad habits, or I guess not so good habits that were fueling my dreams and my purpose, but it was going back into old habits. I wasn't eating well, wasn't exercising. My day was filled with sitting in front of the computer doing graphic design work. And for me, that's amazing. It's earning me money, but in terms of challenging, it was like, I can see this cycle going to continue for so long, and I could easily do that, but I wasn't feeling good. And the challenge was to go, okay, the fire that was there has gone down. It's like almost like a lighter right now. It's not a fire, it's not a flaming, raging fire. How do I get that back? And I was honestly in a lull, and this is only recently, for about 2-3 weeks, where I just didn't know. I had to reassess my values, my mission, my vision, my identity, to go, what do I want and why am I doing it? Why is it important to me? And accepting that I'm in this position right now, and it's not where I thought I'd be, but that's okay. You've got to accept where you are now and then take responsibility for that and now start moving forward. And I think for me, once I owned up to that, I went, okay, everything that's happened in my life is my fault, is up to me. That's my responsibility. If it is to be, it's up to me. Now I can move forward. Now I can plan. Now I can manifest or create whatever I want because I'm aware of it and I'm analyzing it. Another challenging point for me, I'd have to say admitting a lot of the human sides of me, like, yeah, I do feel anxious. I do feel uncomfortable. This being in front of the camera is not the most comfortable thing for me. I still get nervous. I'm still like, am I stuffing up? Am I in the middle of the screen? Am I saying the right thing? But it's also like accepting that human side, accepting that, I am basically my story, what my ego didn't want people to hear, accepting that and sharing that. It was one of the biggest challenges, and it almost made me, I guess, go into a slight anxiety attack to be able to share it. But when I did, the amazing things came from it. Admitting that, I now live back home with my parents, and admitting that I'm in debt, admitting that I'm back, working a job, admitting that, some of my events didn't go to plan, admitting that, I'd been resisting a lot of things in my life, like pushing away certain relationships and problems and things, challenges that I didn't want to face. And that was challenging to accept those and now move into them, to move through them. So remember that whatever you're going through, we've got to move through them. If we resist them and we push them down, they're just going to come up and it's going to be 10 times worse or challenging. But stepping into that takes a lot of courage, and I get that. But if you want to move through something, get someone to guide you and help you through it. I've got mentors and coaches that help me through it, and it's just been, and healers as well, that have helped me move to that level. And you might think they're not that challenging, Carlo. Did you, like all these other things, like everyone's got their own things. Again, I could list about 100 things of things that were challenging or didn't go right this year. But you can see I'm wired right now after so much doing it as a habit or doing it as something every single day, just naturally to go, okay, what was the challenge, but what was the benefit from that challenge? And then the opposite as well, what was the most, the best things that happened this year, and also what was I then sacrificing for those things? Okay, this is where we start to align things. You might get confused from that. The DeMartini interview a couple of episodes ago really explains that. And I think to really go over the year, it's kind of like, the main question would be, am I happy? Am I happy right now of how my 2019 has gone? The wind has picked up, so I'm not sure if you're getting any of that. I might sit back in the van a little bit. And asking yourself, are you happy right now with the results that you've got? And don't get me wrong, like I used to trick myself and go, no matter where I am, I'm gonna be happy and grateful. That's cool, I get that. Like that's a great attitude to have. But for the purpose of living the life you want to be living, you need to honestly assess that and say, am I doing the things I want to be doing? Am I living that life? Am I doing what I love and loving what I'm doing? And it's okay if you're not. And if you're someone that's ambitious like me, it's always going to be, no, I want to be at that next level. It's okay to accept that, okay, I want to be, right now, I'm happy, but I want that little bit more. And that's important to have that gratitude for that, but still be searching for growth. And it's because it aligns with my mission and my vision, which is to impact more people and do more things. But I also struggle with being patient. I think very impatient and like, oh, it's got to happen overnight. And that's okay, I get that. I understand the process, but sometimes I'm my own worst enemy and I self-sabotage that. So working on that, and I've got people keeping me accountable to that. So you're asking yourself, are you happy with the results you've got right now in 2019? Now the second question on that is to ask yourself, am I going to be happy if I'm in the exact same spot this time next year? So it's 2020, it's the end of October or the end of the year. Am I going to be happy with the same result? And that can be in any area of life. That could be in your relationships, that could be in your finances, that could be in your career, that could be in your health, that could be in your leisure, that could be in your growth in terms of your mindset and stuff like that. And if you are at a point where you're like, yes, I love that, but it's also like we still want to be pushing as a human to evolve. I think a lot of people that I've spoken to, generally like 98% of people are like, I'm not happy because there's still this thing I'm struggling with, or still this thing that I can't figure out, or I'm holding myself back from doing. Maybe it's that self-sabotage. Maybe it's, the habits that we're doing. I'm not healthy like I would love to be. I'm not eating as healthy as I'd like to be, or working out as much. And that's okay. To be in that position is totally fine. We're not saying we're broken. We're not saying we need to be healed. We just need to uncover all the stuff that's on top and become that hero of our life that we want to be. So that in 12 months time, 2020, we're sitting at the end of the year and we're going, I own that year. And that's why I think the program that I'm going to release is going to be called Own Your 2020, and what this podcast is going to be called, because we want to own our 2020. And it's not about, the perfection, but it's about having a vision and then actually stepping up to that vision, becoming the hero of our life that we've always wanted to be. And we can step into that. So we've asked ourselves, are we happy? 12 months time, and you've got to honestly answer that. Okay, so I used to always, like I said before, retreat back to, oh, I'll be happy no matter what. And it's like, no, that's, yes, I get it. You'll be grateful, you'll be happy, you'll make the most of any situation. But what would your ideal be? Okay, are you in that ideal? No, I'm working so many hours on my day job that I don't get to produce more content like this. In terms of business and you know, where we're going as a company, I would love a lot more things to have been done, but I got lazy. It's not a matter of patience or it taking time. It was that I got lazy. I spent a lot of time procrastinating. I avoided things. I resisted things. Therefore, it put me in this position. So I'm taking ownership of that. And now I know what to do moving forward. So basically, how we want to set up this 2020 is basically 5 different steps. So we've got number 1, which is vision. Number 2, which is identity. Number 3, which is values. Number 4, which is habits and routines. And number 5 is accountability. Accountability. Shouldn't have spread that out in syllables. So this is something, like a lot of these things is what I guess, the methods that I've been taught. So over the past 10 years of whether it's personal development or reading books, listening to podcasts, YouTube, having mentors, having coaches, being in network marketing, being in business. These are methods that I've kind of picked out and put into my own thing. And when I've done it, it's produced results. Like this year, as much as I'm saying, you know, these were challenges and blah, 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 this year has been standout for me. A lot of massive changes and challenges, but a lot of massive opportunities. Basically, when I done this, exactly what I'm doing, I did it in January, February and planned out my year. Almost everything I wrote down has come to fruition. Now, whether you call that law of attraction or manifestation, whatever it may be, when you put that energy and that focus into knowing what you want, this is the vision process. You then see those things. You then start to focus and put energy into those things. It's like when you see a car that you want to buy. When I was buying this van, I was like, I really want a van. And then I started seeing vans everywhere. And it's not that everyone just bought a van that week. It's because our reticular activating system, RAS, I might have got that wrong, but that part in our brain that just starts noticing it more. It's not because there's more of them, it's just you weren't noticing them. You weren't focusing on it, therefore you weren't seeing them. Okay, so with focus goes, energy flows. If you're focusing on the problems, you get more problems. You focus on opportunities, you get more opportunities. Okay, you'll probably see that in relationships as well. If you focus on those problems and how much, you know, that person doesn't do things for you, you're probably going to notice every little thing. But if you start noticing the things they do, you'll start seeing more of those happen. Okay, so it's that focus on what we get to choose, that channel. So this vision process, I really want you to sit down and think about this and go, what would I like my 2020 to look like? Okay, and this is like, it could include travel, it could include your health, it could include your relationships. Maybe you're in a relationship and you want that to be, you know, a strong connection and you know, amazing and fun. Maybe you want to get in a relationship and I guess manifest that partner. Maybe you want to move house. Maybe you want that career to be thriving, or maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to travel more. Maybe you want to be, you know, your fitness and health. Think about all those areas of your life. And I think there's some pretty simple ones. Yourself, like your personal growth, your relationships, the people around you, your career, so your job or your business, your finances, what you want your finances to look like. Do you want to be earning $1,000 a month? Do you want to be earning $10,000 a month? Because there's a ceiling right now. And if it's at, oh, you know, but I can't do that. This isn't about limiting yourself. And this isn't about shooting for ridiculous right now. It's like, if I could have the 2020 that I want, what would it look like? And then going from there and starting to create that and get a set vision and clarity on what that looks like. There was finances, and the last one was health. And I think another one from there, let's go over them again. Let's see if I can remember these. Yourself, how you want to look and feel in 2020. Your relationships, maybe it's a partner or your family or your friends. Your career, so your job or your business or whatever you may be doing. What do you want to happen, or how do you want it to look and feel as well? The travel, maybe you want to travel. Your income, what your finances you want it to look like, and your health. Let's look at those. The travel would be fun. So those 6 areas of your life, have a think about what you want them to look like. And it's not about making a vision board or whatever. It's just about getting things down on paper. And I know for me, when I'm struggling, when I'm in my head and I'm like, I don't know what I want, I just need to go back to writing down all these ideas that are in my head, because sometimes you just need to get them out. And then you start getting clarity, and maybe you write something and you go, nah, that's not something I actually want. I'm going to cross that off. Or maybe I want something else. And that's okay. I honestly went into so much detail with this and went, this month I'm doing this. My calendar on my computer, on my laptop, the calendar app, I would block out dates of where I wanted to be, whether it was Bali, whether it was Sydney, whether it was Melbourne, whether it was Adelaide. Block them out and organize something for that event. 8 times out of 10, they actually happened because I organized events around that. I said, hey, I'm going to be in Sydney at this time. Who can I interview? And I started planning it out. Okay, if I wasn't doing that and I was going, I'm just going to let it happen, and I'll know when it happens. Like, it'll feel good when it happens, and it's just all universe is gonna bring it all to me. Cool. That's too far in the spiritual realm for me to just go, it's just gonna happen. There's 2 parts of it. That's like law of attraction also is the law of action is needed for the law of attraction. Okay, you need to do things. Your actions, your thoughts, beliefs, actions then lead up to you manifesting those things in. And for me, part of that vision process was like those months that I scheduled out, I made it happen. If I wanted to be speaking on stage, I need to be putting that out there. I need to be writing this down and affirming it that I am a speaker. Okay, that goes into the next one, which is identity. So map out that vision, and it doesn't have to be, look, don't get too caught up on so much detail. It can just be January, February, March, April, May, or you could just write the list, but then have a calendar there and maybe an A4 sheet of paper that has all the months, and just write next to them and go, I want this. Or maybe you print, don't waste paper, maybe do it on your laptop. And just write out, January, I want to do this. Again, if you have a job that requires you there 5 days a week, don't go writing, I want to be traveling for 6 months as of January, because there's 2 sides of it. There's, yes, have a vision and stretch and challenge yourself, but be a little bit realistic here. Like, if you've got that job and you don't have the money, don't try and, like, you're setting yourself up for disappointment there. Maybe it's saving until June this amount of money so that from June to December or June to August, you can travel. Like, how good, it might be a stretch from now. Maybe you don't have those savings, or you haven't been saving that much. But now you've got that goal there, you can focus on that. Okay, so setting that vision for those 6 areas of your life, so valuable, so valuable. So the second one is your identity, and that's you. How do you want to show up? Because who you be in here equals who you be in here equals who you be out here. And do you want to be someone that is reliable, resilient, always growing, someone that is healthy, someone that is connecting with their friends regularly, someone that is, spending time with their family, someone that is doing all these things and having trust and having more self-acceptance, self-belief, less doubts, less anxiety. So we start to create this identity of the person we want to be, that avatar. And that avatar is us. It's just stripping back the things that I guess we struggled with this year, that we want to move through to get to that vision. And it may be limiting beliefs that are stopping us from getting to that vision that we set for ourselves, and that's okay. We just need to notice that to then be able to remove, work through these things. Okay, so that identity of you, try and picture, and I do this in my meditations, which I love so much, is try and picture that person of you. How do they look and how do they feel? Okay, because if you're feeling right now like, I feel anxious, I feel stressed, I feel tired. Okay, so how do you want to actually feel? Same as the vision process. When you start envisioning, visualization, so powerful. The person, how you want to feel and how you want to look, you then start to focus on those things. You start taking steps in that direction. So identity. how you want to look, how you want to feel. And think about in terms of how you want to feel at work, how you want to feel in yourself. What is the hero of your life, which is you? What does he row or her row? That didn't work. What is the hero of your life, which is you? How does that person show up? That person that achieves that vision that you want to set for next year, are they committed? Are they responsible? Are they taking responsibility for their life and for their actions? Are they X, Y, Z? Okay, create that avatar of who you want to step into, or you need to step into to achieve that. Because who you are right now is cool, but that's why you got the results you got now. In order to get this result, your identity needs to match that. Which goes on to the next point, which is number 3, which is values. This is something I teach at all of our events. I go over the value system and the value process, identifying your top 6 values. If you want a worksheet that I've got, reach out to me. If you're not connected with me already and you listen or watch any of this stuff, it's Carlo_Cirillo. It'll be in all the show notes below. To connect with me, I can send that out to you. Basically, it's just all words on different values in your life. So number 1 for everyone, you guys watching, you guys listening, is self-acceptance. Because I feel that a lot of people struggle with this and a lot of people don't have a lot of this, including myself. Therefore, we believe these limiting beliefs. We believe these doubts in our mind. We don't accept who we are or what we've been through. Therefore, that's stopping us from going forward. It's like putting up a wall. It's like we need to accept who we are and responsibility for our life to then move forward. Okay, and with those values, identifying your top 6 that then match that identity. Okay, so again, that identity, who is that person? What do they look like? How do they feel? What are the values that this person has that drives their thoughts, their beliefs, their actions, that then gives them the results of their vision that they're setting? I hope you're trying to see, like, you're seeing that this is like reverse engineering the vision of what it takes to get there. It's not about just saying, hey, in 2020, I want to be traveling for 6 months. It's like, okay, that can happen, but if you're someone that's traveling for 6 months, but you're not happy, you're not healthy, you're not happy with your relationship, things aren't going well at work or financially, if you want to travel like that, that's up to you. I know I wouldn't want to. So if we want to own our 2020, we need to get these values, these top 6 values, what they look like, what they feel like, that match this identity. Okay, maybe it's not family, and I say this all the time at my events, that family isn't in my top values, my top 6. I love them, they're the most important thing to me, but I'm not spending 6 nights a week with my family. If I had kids and a partner, different story. But right now it's like I need to be doing these other things which move me forward to my vision, which they're included in. But our relationship right now and all of that is amazing. So why would I spend every night with them when things have to get done? I need to do things in order to move forward. Again, everyone's situation is different. Everyone's values are different as well. Everyone's vision is going to be different for their life. That's just mine. My other ones come into what my vision is for next year in terms of traveling, events, company, all those things. The next one, our 4th thing to own our 2020 is our habits and our routines. So you've got your vision, you've got the identity of the person, the hero, which is you. You've got the values that this hero has. Now you want to look at the habits and the routines that you're going to do on the daily that are going to get you there. So you're breaking it down even further. If that hero of your life, that person that has that vision of, let's say you want to be really healthy, or you want to run a marathon, or you want to get to an amazing level of fitness, you then don't just go to the gym once and expect to do that. No, you need to train over time. So is this person, if one of the values is like they're going to be committed, they're going to be consistent, they're going to take action, your habits and routines are then going to be fueled by those values. So what habits and routines do you need, whether it's your morning routine? Like, for example, this is something that I implemented. Yeah, it was challenging at first, but implementing a morning routine, mine's stretch, so move my body a bit, and maybe it's dance, maybe it's go to the gym, maybe it's, I actually don't go to the gym in the mornings, but maybe it's swim, maybe it's sauna. I meditate, I journal. I only meditate 15 minutes if you want a good app. Then the Bloom app, I'm featured on that. My meditations are on there. So if you want a good app for meditations, Bloom app. There's so many other features as well. Cheeky plug. But then, meditating, journaling. I have a journaling process. There's water, getting water into my body, having a shower, but then finishing it off with a cold shower. Like things like that are just optimizing for you. And you need to figure them out. You need to try so many different things to then figure out what works for you and what gets you set for the day. Because when you spend that 1 hour in the morning for you, maybe you have to go to bed earlier to wake up earlier, that 1 hour to prime your body and your mind, you will become unstoppable. That hero of your life is that person that shows up, that person that is consistent, that person that is focused, peaceful, mindful. That starts from your morning. Okay? Not touching your phone, not going on social media and all that type of stuff. It's taking time for you. Maybe it's watching the sunrise. I just heard so many good things about getting up for sunrises. I'm going to get up tomorrow and watch the sunrise, getting a bit of sunlight, maybe going outside and breathing in air. Whatever you do, try and between now and 2020, work out things that work for you, things that don't. And I'm telling you, so important. So that's like a habit or a routine that can bring you to that vision that you want. Okay, because I'm guessing now that if you had a routine or habits that were fulfilling, inspiring, and also getting you close to your vision, you wouldn't be on this. You'd be doing those things, but then you'd also be like, I am amazing, like life is so good right now, I'm achieving and all of that. But we're human. It's only natural to want to evolve and grow. Yeah, again, I'm not saying we need to be healed or we're not living the life we should be. It's just that we're naturally going to want to do more with our life. And with that limited time, this year went so fast. We want to make sure that next year is going to be epic. Okay, I'd really want to sit with people and do a 10-year vision, but 12 months is a great start. Now I've lost that. So the last one is accountability. Okay, good memory, even though the paper just flew away. Accountability. So keeping yourself accountable to these habits, to these values, to the identity, and to the vision. Who is keeping you accountable, and how are you going to keep yourself accountable? I have an accountability friend, Owen, shout out, and we call each other every Sunday, and we say, hey man, how'd you go this week? What were your wins? What were your losses? Did you achieve what you set out to achieve, the 3 things on your goals? And what are we going to do this week? And just having someone there to talk to, honestly, you can't lie to them. You have to show up and be accountable to yourself and be like, no, this is the truth. I didn't do what I wanted to do, or I did. That's then going to bring that responsibility into your life to actually achieve these things. Because if you're not keeping accountable to these habits, how are you going to move forward? Okay, and I get it, like things happen and all of that. If you bring in accountability to yourself, maybe it's keeping a journal and ticking things off. Maybe it's creating a calendar and ticking things off. Maybe it's having that morning routine written off with a checkbox and you go, done that, done that, done that, done that. Yes, tick for me, fantastic. Maybe you keep yourself accountable socially. You put it on social media every single day. I've done that once with a week challenge that I had and I wanted to keep accountable. I put it on social media because I knew the pressure of me. I didn't want to look bad to everyone. So I put it on social media. Every day I did it, you were able to see that. And if I didn't do it, then I'd feel terrible. So it kept me accountable. Find an accountability friend. Okay, whether it's your partner, whether it's just a friend, maybe it's a coach or mentor, find someone that's going to also keep you accountable, because they can also give you a different perspective and call you out when you're not showing up. To not just call you out and put you down, but to raise you up. Call you out, but call you forward into who you want to be, and keep you accountable to your vision and your goals and all the things that you want for 2020. Because I don't do this all by myself. I have a team of mentors. I have a team of coaches. I have a team of friends that keep me accountable to those things. And really, that's really sums up everything. I think when you go through that process, you really get a lot of clarity on what you want your 2020 to look like, because right now we're leading into Christmas and it's going to be crazy. There's presents, there's work functions, there's parties, there's celebrations, all of these things, New Year's, everything goes crazy. We're entering a new, is it millennial? New centurion, whatever it is, into the 20s. And if you're like me, you want to capitalize on that. You want to set yourself up to start off with a bang. New Year's goes off and we go, oh, I am so focused. I know what I want. I've got my vision. I've got my identity. I've got my values. I've got my daily habits and routines, and I've got my accountability partner. I feel unstoppable. And that momentum starts to tick. We start doing the work now, between now and in the last months of 2019, and the momentum starts to flow. Even though the craziness happens, we're like, okay, I know that right now I'm doing the work. It doesn't mean it starts in 2020. It starts now to figure this stuff out. And I promise you that when you figure this out, you gain more clarity, you gain more confidence, you gain more inspiration for the upcoming year. Not just going, oh, another year's coming around, or oh, whatever happens, happens. It's just going to be. I'm someone that likes to take responsibility, make the most of every day, and I'm sure you are too. And you are so worth it. Like, you are so worthy of everything you desire. You're worthy of that vision. You are more than enough and more than capable of that. We just need to get through some things, and you're exactly where you need to be right now. If you're listening to this or you're watching this, I really want you to comment, reach out to me and tell me how you're going with this. If you need help, please reach out. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this. I do this to impact your lives, to help raise your awareness and consciousness, but also give you tangible tools and tips to do that. And I hope this episode has been tangible for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've watched it, go to YouTube, type in the Conscious Podcast, and you'll see all my channel. You'll see all these videos, and you'll be able to watch, leave comments, likes, and then also on the podcast app. If you like this, please subscribe on YouTube as well, but also like and subscribe to the podcast. Share it around, take a screenshot, put it on your Instagram. I love when people see value in this and share it, because that's when you start impacting the people around you. As much as it's impacting you, and that's amazing, we want to share this to as many people as possible. We want to make this viral, this consciousness, this wisdom viral. So until next time, I hope you enjoy this, and take care, everyone. Peace.